about critics who say that, for example, that these are long-time leaders, some people call them dictators who have been in power for a long time, that they keep on saying that they are the vision. They have the vision for their country. They're the only leaders who can lead their countries at prosperity. But then there's also another school of thought that says maybe these leaders should take cue from the examples of Robert Mugabe, the example of Omar al-Bashir, that there comes a time when you need to select or appoint a successor to take on from when you're gone, because these countries are going through crises simply because they did not find a possible successor.
Paul, I think that you're really being very kind, because if in fact they were leaders, they would probably be listening to their people. They would be listening to the voices of their people, who, by the way, in terms of democracy, are supposed to be the primary stakeholders, and therefore, in fact, their bosses. So they wouldn't really be in this situation where they would begin to exaggerate the idea of being uniquely, gifted, or perhaps being politically God's gifts to their own countries. These are rulers. They are rulers, and therefore they actually impose themselves upon their people. But as you said, it's probably a high time, and it would be very, very, very wise really for some of these individuals to learn from some of the examples that are provided for for example, Omar Bashir. He was a field marshal. He had been in charge of power, presiding, in fact, over the largest nation on the African continent, until he actually ended up presiding over its splitting into two countries. He also transformed the country into a sort of pariah nation, to the extent that a country that was once very rich, had very, very proud people, was actually
very strong economy. Yeah, until recently.
Almost on its knees, really. That's not a very good example. That's not something that, frankly, some of these leaders would want to emulate.